Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your host, femininity coach and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So, I would have a video for you, but it's too graphic. It can be on YouTube apparently, but not. Anyways, shout out to D6, the collaboration between Six the Goddess and Danica Marie, because they actually did a really good breakdown of Janelle Monae and her video and the agenda behind it. Recently, Janelle was shown on a cover of a magazine. You know, the video Lipstick Lover is a celebration of lesbianism and super sexuality, like super over sexualized. Like the video is graphic for a video. It's basically soft porn, like it's a soft porn video. And I find it interesting that no matter what, Black women are all value is always sex and only sex. Always. And this is an extension of thought culture. This is why I spoke so vehemently against it all last week. This thought whole culture that Black women like to uphold, because it's one that's meant to devalue and make you less than what you are. And then they flipped it to tell you that it's empowering to you as a woman, and it is not. It removes you out of womanhood. But instead of going down that, going down sort of that rabbit hole with it, let's talk a little bit about Janelle Monae. Janelle Monae hit the scene years ago, probably more than 10 years ago, Janelle Monae. And one of her first biggest hits was the song Tightrope. And if you remember the Janelle Monae of that time that collaborated, the one that collaborated with Big Boy, if you remember that Janelle Monae, this was a young woman, very beautiful. You could see how pretty she was. She still is pretty. But she wanted to be known for her talent, known for the music that she made. And even though Tightrope probably wasn't everybody's cup of tea, it was kind of my jam. I liked it. It was a unique kind of sound. It didn't sound like everybody else's music. It was a Black woman that wasn't talking about her sex. It was a Black woman that wasn't talking about hood stuff or thought culture or hoeing, or she wasn't talking about none of that. She wasn't talking about getting a bag. She wasn't talking about what they promote as the only thing that Black women entertainers can promote, which is sex and proxy violence. And she was on the come up, right? She was on the come up. That's one of the things I appreciated about her. I didn't keep up with all her music because she threw me off with the Metropolis album, the one where she's Metropolis. If you ever watched that movie, Metropolis. Anyways, it's a conspiracy theorist's dream. But in any case, if you know, you know. I liked Janelle Monae because of that. Even though I didn't necessarily keep up with all her music, it's not that I liked everything that she did. But I did like the fact that this was one Black woman who was getting some notoriety and being known for her musical talent, despite her beauty, not using her beauty and her sexuality to be noticed. Well, now that's all gone to crap. Because the first step in sexualizing Janelle Monae, which was an artist that wasn't being sexualized, to the point where people didn't know whether she was gay or straight or whatever, she ended up years ago coming out talking about she's a pansexual. So she could be with anybody. She could be with men, women, whatever. None of that stuff makes sense to me. And then now we've progressed. She has devolved into a skank. Now she's the common Black female entertainer that has her sex on display in order to be relevant. Now she got to talk about sex and eating kitty cat and all this other kind of stuff that she got to talk about in order to be a relevant person and to push an agenda. Let's just be honest. To push an agenda. And we're going to talk about this agenda as well. Since it's Pride Month, we're going to talk about pride. We're going to talk about all of that and the adverse effects that it has had on Black women and the Black community as a whole, that whole concept. And she's sort of they using her as a more of a vehicle to get Black women on board with it. But even aside from that, it's not art. It's not unique. It's not her being part of the rainbow community did not spare her from the humiliation of only being a sex object as a Black woman. Your only value is your sex. Now, who's telling you this? Black men are telling you this? Or is it the system of white supremacy that tell you this? That you are on, your value is only what's between your legs, regardless of what you look like, what talent you may have, what anything that might be going on with you. At the end of the day, as a Black woman, your value is only exclusively your ability to be a sex object. They turned Janelle Monae into a whole sapphire. Just part of the rainbow community, as if that adds a layer of integrity to it. It don't. So instead of her singing about what kind of eggplant she taking, now she just singing about what kind of woman she like. Same difference. Because she's still singing an overtly sexual song with an overtly sexual imagery behind it. She's still doing it. So that ain't no different than WAP. That ain't no different than anything Sukihana might have come up with. That ain't no different than the myriad of Black female entertainers, whether they have high profile or low profile, that come through and the only thing they got to say is to sing and rap about their sex. What they like, who they like, how they like it, and all of that type of foolishness. This is your only value. This is not empowerment. This is not female empowerment. If Black women don't understand this as an agenda at this point, I don't know how to help. Because this whole culture, this thotting and hoeing around, this is not how you are empowered as a female. This is how they take you out of the realm of womanhood completely. What happened to focusing on Janelle Monae's talent? What happened to focusing on any of their talent? If they got any. Janelle Monae is actually one of the few that you could say she got some talent. They overly sexualizing Halle Bailey. They ain't doing that to Chloe, but they took Halle. She's Beyonce's little protege. They trying to make another Beyonce with her. And it's failed. It's crashing and burning miserably. Okay? But they over-sexualizing her. She don't need it. What happened to her singing talent? What happened to that? What happened to focusing on that? Can't focus on it. Not if you are a Black woman, you don't. No, you don't. You don't go into an area where you actually can be a woman and a human being and have your value assigned elsewhere other than your sexuality. No, you have to come back to your master that say your only value is in your sex, beloved. I don't care who you are. That's why the younger generation get mad at Janet. Janet Jackson is doing a tour of all her old songs, which I don't see no problem with, right? She's in her 50s. She want to do a tour of her old songs and stuff like this. So old as Aerosmith is and Rolling Stone, all them old white bands and all this study going around tour. They 150,000 years old and they still be touring and everybody cheering on and all that kind of stuff. I don't find no problem with our older performers doing their tours of their songs. But they get mad at Janet because she covered up. Janet be on stage fully covered. Do you understand me? Long sleeves, pants. They kind of loose. She do her little dance a little bit. And then she call it a cheap afternoon. They mad at Janet because she ain't up there naked no more. First of all, Janet is old school. And she has a child now. She can't be running around there doing that. And she older. She ain't no need in her being half naked up there on stage no more. Ain't no need for that. Ain't no need for them tight clothes. But even when she was young, doing Rhythm Nation, it was a hat and that shirt and it, you know. Now, you know, when she was younger, you catch her with a midriff top and, you know what I'm saying, all that kind of stuff, but she was young. She had no kids. Janet is like in her mid-50s. Not naked. Why am I bringing up Janet Jackson? Because the younger generation don't understand that she's performing her music, not her body. She's not performing a sex act. She ain't got to twerk. She ain't got to strip. She ain't have to do nothing. Her talent and her music speak for her. She's performing her songs. What are these women going to be performing 15 years from now? You can't twerk no more in your 50s like you did when you were 22. I don't care what kind of needs you think you got. Only feminism and white supremacy tell Black women that her only value is in her sex. And y'all believe it. And you uphold this thought whore culture as if it has ever served you or done you any good. All you have done is use yourself up. And when you're beyond sexual use, you have no value. You struggle to find where your value as a human being is when that's what you should have done in the first place when you was young. That's what finding yourself mean. It don't mean jump a bunch of eggplants. It mean find your value as a human being. Anyway, jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.